Let's talk about setup and ball position. One of my biggest pet peeves. I think you'll know one thing that you have to understand. Everybody has a bottom to their swing. And that is something that's very unique. Again, as you're built and how you're physically put together will decide the bottom of your swing. How do you find out where it is? Well, as a right-hander, I like people to feel this way as far as ball position. With their irons and everything else, I like to see it just left of center. That's because guess what? When I put my hands on the club, one of them is a little bit lower than the other one. And that is my right hand. See how it wants to go forward? So that's why we have the ball just left of center. Here's the unique part about this. It may be inside your left heel. It may be just inside further. It may be just left of center, but we want to have it there. There's a place to find the bottom of your swing. And to find it is what I like for you to do is this drill right here. That is tee your ball up with the 7-iron, just barely, and try to hit it as far as you can. Once you do this, if you start hitting behind that teed ball, that's not the bottom of your swing. If you're topping that 7-iron, that's not the bottom of your swing. You've moved it too far forward. Now, something I want you to understand is every shot in golf is played at the bottom of your swing when you're swinging at it full swing. I know you have specialty shots that you have to do, but of course, with my method, you're not going to be in the trees, but if you happen to get into them, I know you have to move the ball position back. So what I want you to do is always find the bottom of your swing. This is a pitching wedge, and this is where I would like to play my pitching wedge. Let me show you something. I've got my 4-iron here. All I'm going to do is separate my right foot, but it's still in the bottom of the swing. I think some of you have looked and seen something on TV that looks like the tour players play the ball back. Let me show you something that's great, and it's just a kind of a miss-eye angle. If I showed you that this ball right here, if you notice, it's just left of center, this is the position I have it. This is a wedge. I don't need a wide stance to do this for my setup. I want to play it right here. That's the bottom of my swing. Now what happens, this is what's great, when I put a 4-iron in my hand. I need a little bit more width in my stance. So I'm going to move my left foot straight back. You notice I didn't move it anywhere. My right foot goes a little bit wider, but look where that club position is. Ball position, still just left of center, the exact spot it was on my wedge. So now I'm returning the club to the same place every time. That builds consistency. Now you're going to ask me the question, what about ball position and setup with the driver? It's a little bit different. And again, let me show you something here. I like to use the story that Mr. Hogan told me when I had the lesson with Ben Hogan. I asked him, I said, do you play the ball in the position in your stance every time on setup? And he goes, every time, it's the same. I said, what about the driver? He said, Bobby, I move it 1.5 inches forward. And I thought, well, that's probably telling me, like most of you know, he's trying to hit up on the ball. And then it hit me. How tall were the tees back when Mr. Hogan played? 1.5 inches tall. So the reason he moved the ball forward is because that ball was elevated. He was still hitting it at the bottom of his swing. He wasn't hitting up on the ball. He wasn't hitting down on the ball. He was hitting it at the bottom of his swing. So everything is played in that same position. As you tee the ball up, since I have right now a 3-inch tee, I will probably move it about 3 inches further forward, but it's still the bottom of my swing. So that's the setup we have to use with ball position. And that is, our setup is related to ball position. So what I want to do is just show you sideways, is we've got our alignment. I'm starting with the club behind the ball. I'm going to get my good posture. I've got it at the bottom of my swing. That allows me to take the club away and get down the line of power. What is the line of power? That's part of the U-shaped swing. That's going to help you hit the ball longer and straighter. This is the information, as I'm telling you, that I've gleaned from all the old players and even the new young players that are using it. Roy McIlroy is using it. This U-shaped swing is going to release the power that's within you. You're going to hit it longer and straighter. I'll guarantee it. Let's talk about ball position and setup. I think one of the biggest problems that we have as amateurs is we've been ball result oriented. We want to see that ball go up in the air and just go a certain way. We've got to be more swing oriented. We've got to be able to get that U shape in your swing to release that power. I want to show you a common fault. Most of you think because you want to play that ball, that wedge or that 9-iron up in the air, you'll play it back in your stance. And then as you progress through the irons and into the hybrids and the driver, you start moving the ball forward in your stance, changing clubs and changing clubs. Let me show you what happens when you do that. When this ball is back in my stance, look how steep my swing angle is going back and coming down. This is the classic V swing that will not release power with you. We want a U-shaped swing. Let me show you what happens though when I go to a 4-iron, when I go from a 4-iron back here to a 4-iron forward. Look at my angle of attack. It gets a little bit more shallow. That's because I've moved the ball forward. That's closer to the U-shaped swing. Great example to show you, I'm going to show you from the side, is this. Watch my takeaway when I play that ball back with my short iron. It's straight up, it's straight down, and once I've hit this ball, I don't need to follow through because look at my angle. I have no power, my finish is over here to the right. I have nothing going towards the target. It's almost just like a smack. But when we get to the U-shaped swing, and I'm even going to show you with the wedge, notice that I'm playing it at the bottom of my swing. Notice my angle of attack is going to be the same way that I would with a 4-iron. See how the club gets away from me? See how when I swing, look where that club is going. It's going down the line of power. There's only one way it can go, down the line of power. I can follow through and finish high. This is what we're looking for. That's just with the pitching wedge. Imagine what it looks like if you're playing your 4-iron in the middle of your stance because you want to hit it higher, because you don't know how to get it airborne. Well, here it comes the classic V-shaped swing. It's up, see where I am? And if I don't stay on top of this ball or underneath this ball, I'm straight down on top of it and around over here. How many of you hit your long irons, they happen to go left to right, or they don't go very high? That's a classic V-shaped swing. We don't want V's in our swing. It's all about you and our U-shape. I'll play that ball in the bottom of my stance, the bottom of my impact area, which is forward. Notice how I can get that club away from me. Look where this club is going, down the line of power. That's where we've got to do it. I want to be able to get this 4-iron back because I've got it at the bottom of my swing, my posture is good, and I've got the ball position correctly. I can turn away from that. I can get back behind it. I can ignite right here, get down to the line of power, and there's that U-shaped swing that gives me the maximum distance that I'm looking for and solid contact. You know what you want in golf? Solid contact. My question to you is this. If you hit the ball solid, doesn't it normally go straight? Let's work on that.